Today is December the 27th. Is there value in reading God's Word? Let's find out together as we study Psalm 119. Today we're going to take a quick look at Psalm 119. Now, the first thing you notice about Psalm 119 is it goes on and on and on forever. It's the longest chapter in the Bible, the longest psalm, 176 verses. The next closest, I think, has 72 verses. That's the book of Luke, if I remember right. Psalm 119 is actually an acrostic in Hebrew. Each selection, each stanza of 8 verses begins with the succeeding letter of the Hebrew alphabet. There are 22 letters in the Hebrew alphabet, 22 times 8, 176 verses. The first is Aleph, second Beit, third Gimel. And many of our Bibles actually has that division. Now, there are other psalms that are acrostics. Typically, one line begins with the first letter, the next line, the second letter. Psalm 119 is unique in that sense. The second thing that separates Psalm 119 from all other psalms is that every verse refers to God's Word. The whole psalm is about God's Word and how wonderful God's Word is. I just want to look at 5 verses out of Psalm 119. Verse 105, probably the most famous verse from Psalm 119. Your word is a lamp to guide my feet and a light for my path. David here says that your word gives me direction. Psalm 119 verses 9 and 11. How can a young person stay pure? By obeying your word. And then in verse 11, I've hidden your word in my heart that I might not sin against you. God's word can give us purity. 130, the teaching of your word gives light, so even the simple can understand. God's word provides understanding. Then one last verse from this psalm, 49, verse 49, says, remember your promise to me. It's my only hope. God's word gives us hope. We started with the question, is there value in reading God's word? Well, God's word gives us direction. It helps guard our purity. It gives us understanding. It gives us hope. Yes, there is value in reading God's word. In 2022, we're going to challenge each of you to accompany us as we read through the Bible in 1 year. The reason we do that is because we believe there is value in reading through God's Word. Please like, follow, and subscribe on whatever platform you use to listen to this devotional. Email your questions to us at questions@becomehope.com. Tomorrow, we'll answer the question, why should we read God's Word?